In a small neighborhood grocery, a new cashier is overwhelmed when a card glitch and a loud customer turn the checkout lane tense. A delivery driver on a strict schedule steps out of line to pay for a mother's groceries and bag items, taking a parking ticket and a late warning in the process. The quiet choice nudges the store's morning rhythm toward patience without fanfare, and something left on a truck step might change more than a balance due. Before we get started, tap like, share, and subscribe to join the journey. And tell me, where in the world are you watching? Drop your country below. I love seeing the global trail of these stories. The hum in Sunrise Grocery was a tired kind of bright. The lights made the oranges look brave and the floor look clean even when it wasn't. The freezer doors sighed on their own. The radio over aisle 3 crackled a song that had played every morning for the last 10 years. The cashier rubbed a notch on the counter and kept her smile where it belonged. She had a new name tag that still squeaked when it moved. It threw off a little glare every time she turned her head. She said morning to the man with the coupons and he didn't hear her. She said, "How are you?" to the woman with the squeaky cart and got a nod that landed on the gum rack. She counted coins with her thumb the way her aunt taught her, fast and fair, and slid them back smooth. It started small. The coupon refused to scan and sang a sharp beep that made the old man in the cap wince. The cashier tried the code the manager showed her yesterday. The register shrugged. The old man apologized for the 3rd time and fumbled for different coupons, all of them soft at the corners from pockets and time. The second beep was Mina. The card reader flashed red on a pack of wipes and a carton of eggs. The woman with the squeaky cart shifted her toddler from one hip to the other. The kid wore dinosaur pajamas and had cereal stuck to his cheek. People gathered behind them like weather. A breath, a cough, 3 sighs. The cashier wiped her palm on her black polo and tried again. The man in the suit went loud. "Come on," he said, talking like the ceiling was the problem. "Some of us have jobs to get to." He tossed a pack of gum onto the belt and tapped his card against the reader as if speed could seep into it. The toddler startled and went quiet in that sharp way before crying. The manager was somewhere in the back, a ghost with a clipboard. The delivery guy had crates of bread stacked on a dolly. He was lean and looked like he hadn't slept enough. Blue hoodie, black cap, scruff, a soft line of tired under both eyes. He slid his dolly to a stop and watched the lane like it was a movie he already knew the ending of. He checked the door, checked his watch, checked the meter outside through the glass. His meter outside blinked red. He had 10 minutes on the drop. 8 now. A text from dispatch blinked on his screen. 7:40 drop, clinic, don't be late. He rubbed the edge of the dolly handle with his thumb and took another breath he didn't have time for. He set the dolly brake and stepped into line. "Hey, could we open another lane?" He called to the air, not rude, just steady. The suit guy gave him a sideways look. The cashier lifted her eyes and met his for a second. He nodded at her like they'd agreed on something. He turned back to the suit. "She's doing everything she can," he said, voice even. "Take it easy." The suit muttered something to his earpiece and stopped tapping. He grabbed a stack of paper bags and started opening them. He nested 2 together and slid one down the metal rail. He moved his hands like he'd done this before. Eggs on top, bread on top of that, the wipes at the side, heavy cans to the bottom. He was quick and careful and kept his head low so he didn't take the job from the cashier. He just kept things moving in a way that made sense. Then he slid a folded wad from his hoodie pocket. "I got this," he said to the woman with the dinosaur pajamas. "Quiet, please." He counted out bills for her total, and the manager appeared long enough to turn a key and fill the drawer with change. The woman shook her head and then nodded and then shook it again. "You don't have to," she said, and he half smiled. "I know," he said. "Go." He took the receipt and tucked it under the bag handle so it wouldn't fly. The air changed. The radio didn't seem as brittle. The toddler stopped on a dime when the cashier found a lollipop in a dusty cup and held it out with a small bow. The suit guy looked down like there was something wrong with his shoelace and said nothing. The manager waved at another clerk who hustled over and popped open lane 2. The line bent itself into 2 thinner lines and everyone breathed again. No one clapped. The delivery guy didn't stick around to be thanked. He lifted the crates off his dolly and stacked them at the bread end cap like he always did. The cashier said, "Thank you," with a voice that hit his shoulder instead of his ear. He gave a little nod that said, "You're welcome," without having to try. He pushed his dolly toward the door and caught it with one foot when it wanted to run. Outside, a fat orange ticket flapped under his wiper. The cashier saw it through the glass and felt it land in her own stomach. He plucked the ticket and looked at the number with a face that didn't change much. $45. He folded it once, then once more, and slid it in the same pocket that had just given away what looked like 38 and some change. On the dash, there was a folded paper with DUA stamped in red that disappeared when he closed the door. His phone buzzed 3 times in a row. 7:40. Where are you? Answer your phone. Last warning. He didn't answer. He lifted his water bottle and took a short drink, the kind that doesn't make anything better. He pulled the truck into the street and took the first green light he saw. For days after, little things shifted. The cashier started saying people's items out loud as she scanned them, not because she had to, but because it made the space feel less tight. Morning regulars looked up. A guy in paint-splattered pants put his phone down without being told. The radio sounded like it was trying. The teen with the red hoodie stopped filming. He had been there with his phone up when the suit went loud. He put the phone in his pocket and helped bag without a word. The next day he came back and asked for an application. By the week's end, he was learning the register, counting coins with his thumb the way the cashier showed him. The manager taped a sign by the register. "Thanks for your patience while we train new cashiers," it said. With a smiley face that had too many teeth, he started running 2 lanes every morning without being asked. He dug out a plastic tub of lollipops from the office and set it by the cup of pens. He didn't say he was sorry for not being there fast enough, but he started being there faster. The woman with the dinosaur pajamas came back. No toddler this time, just a folded note that said, "Thank you, whoever you were." She left 6 ones and a handful of quarters on the counter and pushed them toward the cashier. For the meter, she said, "Shy." The cashier and the teen and the clerk from lane 2 added what they could. They put the bills in an envelope and wrote meter on it in thick black marker. She didn't make a plan to fix the world. She kept tape under the counter for ripped boxes. She wrote a little cheat sheet for the register and taped it under the drawer so it wouldn't show. She learned where the override key was and how to look up produce codes without having to ask. She remembered the way his voice stayed steady when the room didn't. It helped. On her break, she saw his truck again at the light. She jogged outside with the envelope and a paper cup of coffee that smelled like caramel. She set both on the truck step and didn't knock. He looked down from the cab and then over, surprised in a quiet way. He tapped the horn once. The cranky door chime tumbled back into the store as she went in. On the step, the white cup sent up a soft curl of steam that curled and didn't rush to be done.